Hi, I'm Dargie and this is 5 Minute Photography, where we break down photography learning into simple chunks of 5 minutes or less. Today we're talking about shutter release modes. What shutter release modes are available and how can you use them to make your photography better. Before we get into that, let me invite you to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button and head to my website where you can get my free ebook 3 Steps to Better Photographs. Okay, let's talk photography. Okay, shutter release modes. It sounds really dull, but having the camera in the wrong shutter release mode can really mess with your photography and cause you to miss important photographs. Most cameras have 4 main shutter release modes: single frame, continuous, delay timer and mirror up. We're going to look into all of those modes in this video. Single shutter release mode is best for static subjects. In this mode, when you press the shutter release button, no matter how long you press that button down for, the camera will only ever take one picture. If the subject of your picture is stationary, you probably don't need consecutive pictures of it under the same conditions or with the same camera settings. For example, if you're shooting a still life, then you can just press the button and you know that the shutter won't run away with itself and give you multiple shots when you only really need one. Good subjects for a single shutter release are certain landscapes where there's not, say, moving water, still life photography and architecture. If your subject is moving, then you should probably use continuous shutter release. In this mode, you just keep your finger pressed down on the shutter release button and the camera will continue to take pictures for as long as it can. That's great for sport, wildlife, covering an event, kids playing in the garden, those kind of things. The next mode is the delay timer. The delay timer is great if you want to take a selfie with a group of friends in a nice location. You set the camera up on a tripod or just on a wall somewhere. You can set the timer, and most cameras will give you a few options for the amount of time that the delay is for. It might be 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Then you get everything framed up, press the shutter release button and you'll have those 5 seconds or so to get yourself round to the front, join your friends, and then the camera will take the shot. The delay timer is also handy for shooting long exposure landscape shots if you don't have a cable release. On some cameras, the delay timer works with bracketing. If you're shooting like a bracket of 3 or 5 images for an HDR type of shot, you set the composition, set up your bracket of shots, set up your delay timer, and then you can just press the shutter release button once and the camera will take that sequence of 3 or 5 images for your bracket without you having to touch the camera again and risk moving it between the shots. Good subjects for the delay timer are selfies or group shots that you want to be in, long exposure landscapes, and brackets of images for HDR photography. If you have a DSLR camera, you might have a mode called mirror up or mirror lockup. Mirror up is a way to introduce more stability into your camera when you're shooting a long exposure. On a DSLR camera, when you press the button to take the shot, one of the first things that happens is the mirror inside the camera clunks up out of the way to allow light to come straight through the camera and into the sensor. The mirror moving up at the beginning of the exposure introduces vibration to the camera. To eliminate that vibration, we can set mirror up mode. That means that when you press the shutter release button, the first time you press it, it moves the mirror up and locks it out of the way. Then you have to press the shutter release button a second time to now take the photograph, but without the movement of the mirror going up. That eliminates the vibration from the shot and means you've got a better chance of having a steady shot, which is especially helpful on those long exposure images. Good subjects for the mirror up mode are long exposure photography, landscape photography, astrophotography, architecture, anything where you've got the camera on the tripod and you need a steady shot. Okay, so how do we change the shutter release mode on our camera? It's going to be different camera to camera. Some cameras will have a button on the camera body. Look for a symbol that's got overlapping rectangles. On other cameras, you're going to have to delve into the menu and find it that way. So check your camera manual to find out how your camera does it. In summary, it's best to have the right mode for the right subject. Static subject, single frame shutter release. Moving subject, continuous shutter release. However, in general, I find it best to keep the camera on continuous shutter release. In this mode, there's a chance that when you're taking a single shot, you might just get that second or third shot following on from it, especially if you're using a fast shutter speed. But when the camera doesn't shoot a few frames continuously when you really need it, that's much more frustrating. Okay, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, it really makes a difference, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can see new videos as they come up, and also check out my location videos from some of the best landscape locations around Scotland. If you want to find out more about me, my photography tuition tours and safaris, you can head to my website, that's grahamdargie.com, where you can also get my free ebook 3 Steps to Better Photographs. Okay, thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, enjoy your photography, and I'll see you out there.